And I work for the Athens Institute for Education and Research, which is a world association of academics and researchers. I would like to welcome you to Athener's interview series, where we interview the participants that attend our mini conference in Athens present their work. Today I'll interview Dr. Adolfo Cosme Fernandez Puente, who is a professor at the University of Cantabria in Spain. Hello, Dr. Fernandez Puente. How are you? Nice to meet you. So I would like to begin with asking you to give us a brief academic introduction of yourself.
I studied in the University of Cantabria, but the last year of the university in Fernandez in Belgium, and then I prepared my PhD in the University of Cantabria, studying at the Berkeley University and Columbia University. And then I've been working at the university, but too in the Open University in Cantabria. I've been the director of the Open University in my region for the last 4 years. And I've been working as deputy dean in the university, the international relations, the deputy dean.
Okay. So what is your major current area of research?
When I started my research, in fact my PhD was related with economic growth and development in sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, I was working in Nairobi and I was working in South Africa because I was preparing my thesis. And it was related to the relationship between trade integration and economic growth and development. At the moment, I'm developing other projects. One is related with satisfaction, and this is the one that I presented in this congress. So the influence of satisfaction, the difference between men and women's satisfaction, and I have studied to the influence of over-education and under-education on satisfaction, and I'm developing a project related with happiness and the paradox of Latin American countries related with happiness.
Interesting, very interesting. So tell us a few words about your presentation, about the conference.
My presentation was related with the difference in job satisfaction between men and women in the case of Spain, because we find that that women in Spain usually have worse conditions in terms of employment segregation and in terms of wage, but at the same time we observe that the satisfaction levels are higher, and in fact we find that they have bigger probability of being satisfied at work. And we have introduced different variables related with the objective characteristics of the work and the subjective ones, and we have introduced to the personal characteristics to try to explain. And then we try to see if younger workers, if the difference between young workers are bigger or smaller. And we see exactly the same difference. I mean, usually women are more satisfied than men, even if they are more qualified and even if they are younger.
Okay, why though?
Well, it's kind of difficult, but there are some variables that escape of our analysis. For example, the discrimination in the labor market. We cannot control these kind of variables, and we cannot control exactly the expectations created by culture. So probably these kind of variables are, but it's not a specific case of Spain, because we can see the same results, for example, in the United States and in some other countries. So there is something related with education or with culture that will cause that women at the end answer that they are more satisfied than men.
Okay, interesting. So how are you introduced to Athener, and what made you attend the conference?
In fact, I have a colleague from the history department that participated in this congress. I think it was last year. He told me that it was interesting, and then the location, I think it was one of the causes of the explanation of coming here.
This is your first time here?
Oh, it's my first time in Athens,
Okay, okay, so I hope you enjoy it. So tell us about the status of the higher educational system in Spain, and what do you think are its advantages and disadvantages?
I work at the public university, at the University of Cantabria, but I've been director of the Open University in Cantabria for years, but it's also a public university. And I think it's one of the strengths of the university is that we have a strong public university, that it's not expensive, and I think the quality is quite good. I think this is one of the strengths. At the same time, we have a lot of public university in different regions, so I think students are not supposed to change their location to study. So I think this is interesting too, and I think the state in Spain has done a big effort related with this kind of supply of university. This will be the strength, probably. I mean, one of the weakness, I think is. I'm not sure if it's related with the university, but we have a very high unemployment rate at the moment, bigger than 20%. And one of the things that are criticized is that university don't provide this kind of employability. So probably we could make a bigger effort, but I'm not sure if it's just related with the university. So probably there are other characteristics that cause the other explanation for unemployment that are not at the university. And other weakness, probably the internationalization. For example, in my university during the last years, they have done a big effort. We have a lot of foreign students, and we sent a lot of students abroad. But I think we can do better. We can increase the internationalization, because I think it's one of the things that opens your mind in a bigger extent. So yeah, probably.
Okay, well, thank you very much.